The Detroit Lions have a victory for the second time in 344 days over the Kansas City Chiefs. And guess what? It was a 1-point victory at that, defeating them 2021 in the regular season last year. And albeit the backups, but it was, you couldn't tell me no different, man. 24-23, the Detroit Lions beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Played the starters of the Kansas City Chiefs for a little bit. Patrick Mahomes was out there running around like a gazelle, nothing too fancy. But it was that second and third team that we were interested in seeing. And I must admit, I like what I saw much more than I didn't like what I saw. I got a lot of notes, man, that we're going to go over. Shout out to the chat as well. All right, so we're going to start something new. This segment, this post-game show, during the live stream, I'm taking a kind of poll of the fan base and who would they like to see stock up and stock down. It's a big list, so be ready. Let's do this. Stock way up, all right? Stock way up is Isaiah Williams. Isaiah Williams went from, in my opinion, playing in the UFL in March to now on the Detroit Lions roster. I do think that Isaiah Williams is going to make this team. The Detroit Lions are probably going to keep 6 wide receivers because I forgot they had 5 last year. And the receiving, it's going to be some good people that get cut. So we've got to be able to keep them. Now, right now, do we need to go outside? That will be decided in the last game. In the last game, if the right guy gets cut, I still say yes. But the reason that I might be on the fence about that is another guy who stepped up that I think, unfortunately, kind of drifted away as the second quarter went on, and that is stock up Caden Davis. Scored the early touchdown from Nate Sudfeld, 60 plus, I think it was 60 yards, slow as ever, but he got away from the defense, man, and scored. It was sad to see him kind of, I don't know if he was pulled off. I can't remember how much he was out there, but Caden Davis made a real special case to make this team. Speaking of wide receivers. So that's 2 stock up. Who else? What does that mean for the stock down wide receiver? Stock down, Donovan Peoples-Jones had 1 catch. In my opinion, you can't put DPJ over either Caden Davis or Isaiah Williams right now. So let's say that Isaiah Williams is 4. The 1 plus to Donovan Peoples-Jones is he is a bigger body wide receiver. So it's going to come down between him, Caden Davis, and Darius Fountain. Speaking of Darius Fountain, stock down. Another 1, maybe 2 catches. No excuses. Second team, third team, I'm throwing you the ball. It doesn't matter. You got to make plays when you're trying to make teams. Trademark me. Don't steal that. Make plays to make the team. All right? Darius Fountain, stock down. Donovan Peoples-Jones, stock down. Stock up, Isaiah Williams and Caden Davis. Stock way up. Who held this title until Isaiah Williams had that punt return is Sione Vaki. Sione Vaki is definitely a stock up as well. Not the quickest dude, but he's shifty, small. He does his thing. He was the spark we needed while Sudfeld was out there. And this guy is going to be an asset for us. Speaking of Sudfeld, as much as I wanted to give him a stock down, still trash. I won't give him a stock up or stock down or a neutral. I'll say he did a solid C. There was a times that he tried to force the ball to certain people. He missed wide open throws. As a matter of fact, Caden Davis was streaking down the middle. Probably would have been a TD, but Nate checked through an interception instead. So Nate Sudfeld, I'll give him a grade instead of a stock up or down. I just can't do it. Stock up. The offensive line, who played much better than they did last week. Everybody on that offensive line played much better than they did the first go round. That just tells you about meshing when we talk about the importance of the wide receiver. The offensive line and how those guys go out to dinner together. Our starting offensive line, it's almost like they do everything together. They've got to grow that, get that unity, man. Stock up the offensive line. Stock up. With the 96th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Broderick Martin. Stock up, big boy. Keep up the good work. I want to see you out there next week. Got to give some love to pick number 96, Martin. Now, let's go a little bit with the stock downs. No, you know what? Let's finish the stock up. Stock up. We just going to kind of Mitchell Agude made some good plays. Who else do we have? We've got somebody, too, that I was talking about. Now, I got to eat crow on this one because I was a little leery after last week's game because we didn't hear his name. Matthew Betts. You might hear him at 2 other places, but it's Matthew. That's how you pronounce his name. Matthew Betts. Stock up. Sacked the quarterback. Remember I said Matthew sack? Brought him in a sack. When we first started the game, dude was in coverage. Maybe Dan Campbell got it in his head, said, listen, we done with that. Rush the passer. Matthew Betts made some good plays. Stock up, Matthew Betts. Stock up. Hendon Hooker, man, came out there looking a lot of rough. A lot of rough. It was like 7 plays, 4 or 5 runs, an overthrow, and a bat down. That second drive and after that looked extremely comfortable. Was looking real good until the little handoff snafu. Is he backup number 2? I don't know if I'm comfortable with that just yet, and they're comfortable just yet, but he made a strong case today. Shout out to Hendon Hooker. Now, another guy, stock up. What is his name? Isaac Ukwu made some plays. Thought he was done in the first quarter. That little chump bag went low on him. Thought he was done. But he came back and got some pressure on a quarterback and a Goudet as well. Josh Pascal making some plays. Love to see it. Now let's get to the stock downs. Stock downs is not a ton of them. Overall, I think it was a much better performance than last week. 75% stock up, maybe 80, 85. Couple stock down guys for me, and then we'll have a guy too that I forgot to mention. Stock down, Kendall Vildor. Kendall Vildor, he good for a backup role, maybe not even that. Stock down as well. Let me see what I wrote here. I'm going to put a guy that you got to give him stock down because he didn't play. And there's too many people. Found looking for this position. James Houston. James Houston was not ready to go. But when you got people performing like Matthew Betts, Mitchell Agude, you've got Isaac Ukwu out there. You will lose your job to injury. You will lose your job to injury. And a guy that literally was going to go one of 2 ways had he missed this kick. Jake Bates could have went from hero to pooper in 1 kick. Missed an extra point, but I think today he hit all his field goals, right? He went 4 for 4, 3 for 3, something like that. That missed extra point is vital. He hit one from 53 yards. That's what we want to see. Game was on the line. Pressure was on the line. Hit that kick. Yeah, it's preseason, but he's the only kicker on the roster. You got to be able to hit those kicks. Preseason or not, game on the line, hit it. That's why we brought him in. Jake Bates definitely gets a stock up. Would have had it if it wasn't for Isaiah Williams, man. So my number 1 stock down has to be James Houston. If you can't play, you can't get no stock. And right now, it is literally slipping through his hands because people are outperforming him. My stock way up is Isaiah Williams. Caden Davis did his thing as well. Want to give some love to Tom Kennedy. It's not going to make the team. It's unfortunate because there are going to be other people on this team, and Tom just cannot crack the 53-man roster. But that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. Tom Kennedy, if we can put him on the practice squad, I say put him on the practice squad. People that didn't exist this game, in my opinion, like I said, Maurice Alexander, not really a non-factor. Somebody else was fumbling and bumbling. Jaylon Calhoun, all those guys, a lot of bubble guys that are probably in danger of making the team. You cannot, if you are on the bubble, you have to utilize every single play that you have. You cannot be dropping passes. You cannot be missing tackles. You cannot be fumbling the football, right? You got to hold on to the ball. So next week is going to be a battle and right now, I know I said earlier that this guy, I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you now. I'm going to say that Matthew Betts will make this team over James Houston. Y'all stuck on them 8 sacks. We ain't seen nothing since. Now, yes, he's been hurt, and he's hurt again now. I see James Houston. If James Houston makes this team over Matthew Betts, from what I saw today, we might have to ask some questions. Another guy, too, and I think the biggest thing I'm going to be watching is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Right now, there's no reason he should be on this team. There's no reason. That'll be another L for Brad Holmes when it comes to the wide receiver. I know y'all don't like to hear it, but if you want bubbles and rainbows and fluff, there are plenty of other channels you can watch, man. Absolutely. Lions defeat the Chiefs 24-23, and they are home finally against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the last preseason game. Craig Reynolds, I think he's on the team. We didn't see much of him. Couple drives. Craig Reynolds, I think, is running back number 3. A guy we didn't see that I don't think he's injured, but I caught this a long time ago. I think is not making the team. Jamar Jefferson, he's not going to be on this team. So we finally got to the point where Brad Holmes' draft picks are going to start falling off of the table. So shout out to the Lions, bro. Preseason or not, win games. Like, I dig it. I dig it. Much better feeling winning the game than losing it. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, man. Lions, 1-1 preseason means nothing with winning losses, but it still feels good. It's more about talent evaluation. We saw a lot today. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.